Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Polar Lights Superman build. As you can see in front of you, I have the figure of Superman I put together, so he's now one whole person. So with that being said, let me go ahead and bring him in a little bit closer, and we'll go over some of the things I did to get him this way. First of all, like I said, when I went ahead and put the head on and the two arms on to the torso, and of course it left a nice gap between the arm and the chest. So what I ended up doing was going ahead and using some of our Bondo glazing putty. So what I ended up doing was actually putting 2 to 3 coats of that on and sanding it with some 320 grit sandpaper, and just carefully blended it to make it part of his uniform. So that's one side right there that I did, and of course then again I did the other side as well, and so it looks 100% better. As far as the trunks are concerned, there were a couple of little pitted areas where I cut it off the sprue there, so we went ahead and filled those little holes in and smoothed them out again with the spot putty. I also, on where the legs and the meet the trunks, I went ahead and decided to change it up a little bit and use the Vallejo acrylic plastic putty, and just put a nice fine bead around the trunk line on the other underside there, because there was like a little bit of a gap there, and then just use the wet brush and just smooth it out there as well. If you kind of look underneath his arm where the kind of the armpit is at, there's a little gap there too as well, so I went ahead and used the Vallejo plastic putty for that as well. So yeah, so basically he is set and ready to go for some paint, and like I said, I smoothed all the seam lines as much as possible, so he is ready to go. As far as the cape is concerned, we went ahead and did the same thing. Well, we went ahead and put 2 or 3 coats of the putty, spot putty from the Bondo, and went ahead and smoothed it out with some of the 320 grit paper again. So that is nice and smooth. It's got a strong bond to it now, so it's one solid piece. You can see the underside here of the cape as well, so that is nice and smooth, and again it is ready for paint. What I'll probably end up doing is just go ahead and give it a wipe down with some 91% alcohol, just to clean up any fingerprints and dirt and whatnot, and she's ready for a primer coat, which I'll probably end up airbrushing some gray paint on it. And with that being said, we will be right back. Stay tuned. Alright, we are back, and I have my airbrush loaded up with the paint I'm going to use, which is I chose this one here in particular. It's the Folk Art Steel Gray, no pun intended, since he is the man of steel. But this is it, Folk Art 2561 Steel Gray, and we did like a 1-to-1 ratio with our windshield washer. We went ahead and mixed it in a 1 ounce glass jar for the Pache airbrush gun, and we got adjusted the right spray pattern. So let's get to it. I'll go ahead and I think I'll go ahead and start with the cape first, and work on the back side just to kind of give a little test pattern. And like I said, I mixed this to a 2% milk consistency, as you can see right here. So let's get to it. If I'm not talking in between too much, I'm basically just concentrating on the painting. So bear with me. So right now I'm just putting a light coat on it. During this process, I'm not going to cover it all in one sweep. So we will be doing several layers in between the coats while it's drying. And I'm basically, keeping it about, I don't know, trying to keep it around, 6 to 8 inches away from the item I'm spraying, so I don't have any runs in it or splattering, but it's looking pretty good. So we'll go ahead and turn around and kind of start on the outside of the cape. Like I said, that's just the first coat. Just keep it nice and light. There you go. Alright, we're going to set that off to the side, like so, and we will go with this guy. I got most of them covered up for right now. I won't bore you with the rest of the shooting of the airbrush, but just want to give you an idea of how it's laying down on Superman here. I'm going to go ahead and let this guy dry a little bit, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Bye. Alright, we're back, and here he is, all prepped up with the steel gray paint through my airbrush. I went ahead and I actually put him on his base and put him on a Lazy Susan turnstile, so it'll be easy for me to spray him. So it came out pretty good. I do have to kind of go back, even though the cape will probably be covering it. I noticed one seam running down the back side of his leg, which is right about here. You can see the pronounced line there, so I may have to just go back and kind of sand that down a little bit and smooth it out and respray it. But other than that, he's looking pretty good. I'm going ahead and let this dry overnight and let it cure. And like I said, this is the folk art, so it'll dry pretty fast. But I'd still want to give at least a day to adhere to the styrene. So that is it for him there on the figure. I went ahead and did the cape as well. See if I can get it dry enough right now, but here we go with the cape. As you can see, done again with the steel gray. You can see there is maybe still a little bit of a line there, but hopefully once I blend it in with some red and some shadows and stuff, that should be able to be camouflaged. It's still kind of drying a little bit, but here's the other side as well, which be mostly covered, but it looks pretty good, and I'm happy with it so far. But I'll be definitely doing some touch up and stuff, but I just want to give you a quick look at my progress so far. So there he is, and with that being said, we will call this a finished episode for right now, and I hope everybody has a good weekend, and we will be back again probably in about another week for another progress update. So until then, everybody have a good day, and we'll catch you later. Bye.